Did my child get born while I was on my trip? My son-in-law called with an easygoing tone, oblivious to the funeral that was about to happen. Yes, the child was safely born, I responded, being unexpectedly on the receiving end of my daughter's cell phone call. I heard him click his tongue in disappointment. Damn it. Please switch me to my wife. I'd like to talk to her directly. Your wife has passed away. What? Come to the funeral immediately. Don't joke around. That's too harsh, man. My son-in-law laughed off my words in disbelief. All of this is your fault. You must pay for it, I muttered under my breath, and hung up the phone. My name is Mary, 58 years old. Just a few days ago, I had a daughter who was turning 30. Now she lies peacefully in a white coffin. I touch her cold cheek and whisper to her, Karen. But there's no response. As I look at her doll-like face, recent events replay in my mind. If only I had rushed to Karen sooner that time. Just thinking about it fills me with an unbearable regret, and tears overflow endlessly. 1 week ago, my daughter, who lives far away, called me with a worried voice. Mom, what do I do? I'm starting to feel contractions, and I'm so scared. It's your first time giving birth. It's only natural you'd be scared. I called the hospital, and they told me to come in when the contractions are 10 minutes apart, but I'm alone and feeling vulnerable. Isn't your husband at work, and your mother-in-law living with you? However, despite knowing the due date, my son-in-law and his mother had booked a trip abroad. You'll be fine with the midwife when you give birth. The two of them left my daughter alone as she started to have contractions. I was taken aback by their callousness. I advised my daughter to take a cab to the hospital if the pain got too severe, and immediately hopped in my car. It's strange that my usually lively daughter to sound so down. My house is about a 3-hour drive from where my daughter lives. But of course I got stuck in traffic, and it ended up taking me 5 hours to get there. When I finally arrived at my daughter's house, it was already dark and the surroundings were pitch black. Yet there were no lights on in the house. Did she go to the hospital? Or surely not. Shaking off an ominous feeling, I opened the front door only to find my daughter collapsed there. In a panic, I cradled her in my arms, her clothes soaking wet, seemingly due to her water breaking, and the floor was drenched as well. Moreover, her face looked so haggard it was hard to believe she was in her last month of pregnancy. I called an ambulance as I tried to suppress my trembling hands. Once we arrived at the hospital and she regained consciousness, it was determined she couldn't give birth naturally, and she was taken to the operating room. Please, let both my daughter and her baby be okay, I prayed fervently outside the operating room. After a while, I heard a baby's cry, and the doctor emerged from behind the door, informing me, "It's a healthy baby girl." Just as I breathed a sigh of relief, the doctor, with a stern face, uttered unthinkable words. Your daughter lost a lot of blood, and her strength has been severely depleted. We need to monitor her closely for a while. Please be prepared for the worst. What? No, that can't... My daughter, who had just been wheeled out of the operating room and into her hospital room, was utterly exhausted. My daughter was in such a state, with countless needles in her arms and an oxygen mask on her face. The joy of my granddaughter's birth was overshadowed by concern for my daughter, Karen. Perhaps to cheer us up, the nurse allowed Karen to hold her newborn daughter. Upon doing so, Karen opened her eyes slightly and smiled, and shed tears of joy, saying, "I'm glad you were born safely." 2 days later, I was able to have a conversation with my daughter, who had regained a bit of strength. "Sorry for causing you trouble, Mom. As long as you and the baby are safe, that's all that matters. I asked my husband if I could give birth at my parents' house, but he rejected the idea. I thought he'd at least cancel his trip. He's awful for leaving you in labor like that. Yeah, I might not be able to protect the baby if things stay like this." My daughter, seeming determined, asked me for a favor. That same day, I completed what she asked, and when I reported back, Karen, looking relieved, closed her eyes and fell back asleep. I wish she would recover. She's so pale. I prayed desperately over and over, but my hopes did not reach the heavens, and Karen's condition worsened day by day. During this time, I called her husband countless times, but all my calls went unanswered. 3 days later, despite our efforts, my daughter departed this world, leaving behind her newborn child. Karen's last words were heartbreaking. "I'm sorry for being such a failure of a daughter. Please protect the baby, Mom." She wasn't the type to say such things. "Karen, I'm sorry I couldn't get to you sooner." My heart was overwhelmed with grief and pain at losing my precious daughter. But I couldn't just wallow in sorrow. I made countless calls to my son-in-law's mobile phone to inform him of Karen's death, but he never picked up. In sheer desperation, I headed to my daughter's home to look up the phone number of the hotel she was staying at during her trip. While there, searching for anything like an itinerary, I stumbled upon my daughter's diary in a drawer. What in the world? This is horrible! The diary contained a truth far beyond my imagination. As I continued reading, I discovered the real meaning behind my daughter's words when she called herself a failure of a daughter. Overwhelmed with trembling hands and a heart that wouldn't stop shaking, I crouched down right there on the spot. I will never forgive them for causing my child such pain. I'll make them regret this. I held my daughter's diary close to my heart, making that vow with determination. Several days later, her carefree son-in-law returned my call. I'm back in the States. It's the return of the Lord and Master. Has the baby been born safely? Yes, the baby is full of life. This is my wife's phone, right? The voice seems different. Oh, you're right. It's been a while, Richard. I'm Karen's mother. Oh, it's my mother-in-law. You should have said so sooner. Hurry up and let me talk to Karen. I'm afraid I can't do that. Our daughter has passed away. What? It's your fault for leaving her alone when her labor started. She's dead? Don't joke around. The funeral is about to start. If you feel any remorse, come right now. I just informed him of the location of the funeral and immediately ended the call. He rang back immediately, but I didn't want him disturbing my farewell to my daughter, so I ignored him and turned off my phone. When the time came, the funeral was carried out solemnly. I'm so sorry, Karen. It must have been hard for you, and I'm sorry I didn't realize it sooner. Tears kept falling no matter how I tried to wipe them away. Next to me, I could see my husband biting his lip, keeping his head down, desperately holding back his tears. After the cremation, as I was carefully holding the small box with Karen's ashes, her husband and her mother-in-law finally arrived. They were shocked to see the sorrow-filled faces of those present. Furthermore, it seemed they had come straight from the airport. Her husband was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and her mother-in-law had on a large-brimmed straw hat with her sunglasses still on. My husband's face turned into that of a demon's. What's with that disrespectful attire? Can't you at least dress appropriately for a funeral? Well, we had to hurry because of what you said. Before making any excuses, apologize to our daughter, sincerely. Then, her son-in-law, rather than breaking down in front of her portrait as I thought he would, let out a snort and chuckled. I should be the one receiving an apology. Who's going to take care of the house now? Anybody can give birth. She was an utterly hopeless wife. What a despicable thing to say. I'm just telling it like it is. His mother, sitting next to him, fervently nodded. That's right. Angry, my hand tightened up into a fist, my nails digging into my skin, a sharp pain shooting up. My usually gentle husband had an uncharacteristically fierce look in his eyes, a sight I had never seen before. Yet he didn't seem bothered by it. So, did she have a girl? Yes. I knew it. If only you could have given me a boy to carry on the family name. You're just a useless, incompetent daughter-in-law. I gritted my teeth, suppressing the urge to lash out at him. I don't need the kid. Raise it yourselves. That was the plan from the start. Besides, you and Karen's divorce was already finalized. What? Divorce? I submitted the divorce papers at Karen's request. You wrote them yourself, right? Used them as a threat? Karen, who had been tolerating all sorts of abuse because she believed her child needed a father, had entrusted me with the divorce papers because she feared she couldn't protect the child. Karen won custody, so we will take responsibility for raising the child. You went and filed the papers without permission? But since Karen's gone, by default, I get custody. I'll raise the kid, so pay up child support. Do you understand what you're saying? Yeah, hand over the kid. I'll take care of her for free. Just pay me. How despicable. We've already applied for guardianship, so you're the one who's going to pay child support. Huh? You're greedier than I thought. But I have Karen's life insurance payout. I can afford to pay around $1,000. I was taken back by my son-in-law's words. It sounded like he had planned for Karen to pass away first. Wait, you mean? Everything went according to plan. Karen finally made herself useful, huh? Ha ha. So you deliberately left our daughter. Well, yeah. I was so shocked I nearly collapsed, but my husband caught me in the nick of time. Even he was shaking his shoulders in disbelief, whispering, I can't believe it. The relatives around us started to whisper and exchange glances. When I told my mother-in-law the baby was a girl, she yelled at me, You can't even give me a grandson. You're such a useless daughter-in-law. My husband told me, You're a total failure. A hopeless woman. Disgusting. I was really sad. But I thought they'd love the baby once she was born, so I have to endure it for now. I took my daughter's diary out from my bag and began to read. In the scorching midsummer sun, my mother-in-law made me go shopping. When I got back, she immediately made me pull weeds from the garden. She kept ordering me around, even making me redo dinner if she didn't like it. I don't know what to do. All the reasons for my daughter's exhaustion during her last month of pregnancy were written in the diary.
How dare you take that without permission? You're nothing but a thief.
And you made sure we couldn't contact her. Our daughter wanted to come home for the birth, but you made her give up and left her alone. She must have felt so helpless.
I don't care about any of that.
They seemed to show no sign of remorse, appearing completely oblivious to the depth of their sins. That's when a thunderous roar from my husband echoed across the room.
Enough is enough.
Our anger, as well as that of our relatives, was insatiable. We made them prostrate themselves right there on the spot. My son-in-law, finally realizing his situation, changed his attitude, as though flipping the palm of his hand.
Okay, I get it. Just give me a break already.
Oh, this isn't over. The president of the company you work for knows what you did to our daughter. You're likely to be fired.
What? Why?
The president and I are old classmates. It's a small world. And not just that, the neighbors know too. When I went to my daughter's house, a concerned neighbor had approached me. I told them about Karen's death and explained everything that had happened. Feel the weight of your sins and live the rest of your life in regret.
There's no need to go that far.
As they slumped in defeat, I relayed another important piece of information. Also, I am the beneficiary of my daughter's life insurance.
What? Why is that?
My son-in-law and his mother exchanged a look of utter shock. I found a piece of paper in my daughter's diary. It was a life insurance document. My daughter had changed the beneficiary to me without telling anyone. I bet it's a real bummer seeing all of your plans fall apart.
Seriously, I was counting on that money.
Also, I've already filed a report with the police for abandoning your responsibility to protect. It'll be quite troublesome since you've added the crime of leaving our daughter for the purpose of receiving the life insurance money.
The police? Please, spare me! Forgive me!
Pale and trembling, my son-in-law and his mother were prostrating themselves on the floor, but I had absolutely no intention of forgiving them.
I will never forgive you. Experience the depths of that.
Soon, a police car that one of our relatives had called had arrived. As they were being taken away, the two cried pitifully. Everyone present watched them with cold eyes. Afterward, I hired a lawyer to claim child support from my son-in-law and his mother. I'm praying they will be severely punished for driving our daughter to death. Regardless of the crimes they're charged with, they'll never be able to live a peaceful life as they once did. The unemployed son-in-law and his mother, who will forever be pointed at by the neighbors. The baby my daughter gave birth to is now being raised by us. The life insurance money that was paid out will all be used for the baby's life. The sadness of losing my daughter will never disappear, but there are many moments when I feel saved just by seeing this child smile. From now on, I will shower this child with the love that my daughter was unable to express.